the silent hunters. These were the unseen predators of the deep, the specters that haunted the vast oceans during the tumultuous years of World War II. Written by Eric Larson in Dead Wake, The Last Crossing of the Lusitania, the story of these silent hunters is brought to life with vivid detail and historical accuracy. The world had never seen anything quite like the U-boat. These underwater vessels were a marvel of engineering and a testament to human ingenuity, designed to operate unseen beneath the waves. Short for Unterseeboot, which is German for undersea boat, these submarines were Germany's secret weapon during World War II. They were the spearhead of a new kind of naval warfare. They were designed to attack enemy ships stealthily from beneath the waves. With their periscopes peeking just above the surface, they could track and target ships without being seen. Their dark silhouettes lurking unseen below the surface instilled fear in the hearts of sailors across the globe. The mere thought of a U-boat nearby was enough to send shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned mariner. The U-boat was a key part of Germany's naval strategy. It was a weapon of stealth and surprise, designed to strike fear and confusion into the hearts of the enemy. Germany understood that it could not challenge the mighty British Royal Navy in a direct confrontation. The British fleet was too powerful, too numerous, and too well-equipped. Instead, they planned to use U-boats to cripple Britain's supply lines. By targeting the lifelines that kept Britain supplied with food, fuel, and war materials, they hoped to bring the island nation to its knees. The main target for the U-boats were the merchant ships carrying vital supplies to Britain. These convoys were the arteries through which the lifeblood of the British war effort flowed. Food, fuel, weapons, and raw materials, everything needed to keep Britain fighting, had to be shipped across the Atlantic Ocean. The U-boats aimed to sever these arteries and starve Britain into submission. The Germans knew that if they could sink enough of these merchant ships, they could starve Britain into submission. Each torpedoed ship was a blow to the British war effort, a step closer to victory for Germany. They called this strategy unrestricted submarine warfare. It was a ruthless and relentless campaign aimed at breaking the will of the British people by cutting off their supplies. It meant that U-boats would attack any ship, regardless of its nationality or cargo, that was deemed to be helping the Allied war effort. No ship was safe from the silent hunters. The U-boat campaign was a gamble for Germany. It was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, played out on the vast and unforgiving stage of the Atlantic Ocean. They knew that sinking neutral ships, especially American ships, would outrage international opinion. The risk of drawing the United States into the war was a constant shadow over their strategy. They also knew that the United States, with its vast industrial might, could pose a serious threat if it entered the war. American shipyards could produce ships faster than the U-boats could sink them. But the German leadership was desperate. They were willing to take the risk, believing that a quick and decisive victory at sea was their only hope of winning the war. They believed that a quick and decisive victory at sea was their only hope of winning the war. The U-boats were their best chance to achieve this, their silent hunters prowling the depths in search of prey. The men who served on these U-boats were a special breed. They lived and fought in the cramped, claustrophobic confines of their submarines, facing the constant threat of death from depth charges and enemy attacks. Despite the dangers, there was a strong sense of camaraderie among the U-boat crews. They were bound together by their shared experiences and the knowledge that they were part of a crucial mission. The U-boats often operated at night, surfacing under the cover of darkness to recharge their batteries and communicate with their command. The night was their ally, providing the cover they needed to strike unseen. When they launched their torpedoes, the results were devastating. A single well-placed torpedo could send a ship to the bottom in minutes, leaving its crew struggling for survival in the cold, dark waters. The aftermath of a U-boat attack was often grim. Survivors clung to life rafts, hoping for rescue, while the wreckage of their ships floated around them. The silent hunters had struck again, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The story of the U-boats is a tale of innovation, bravery, and tragedy. It is a reminder of the lengths to which nations will go in the pursuit of victory and the human cost of war. The silent hunters, their legacy is etched into the history of naval warfare, a testament to the power and peril of the unseen. The U-boat campaign began in the very first days of World War II. On September 3, 1939, just hours after Britain and France declared war on Germany, a German U-boat torpedoed and sunk the British passenger liner Athenia. This act shocked the world and signaled the beginning of a long and brutal conflict beneath the waves. In the early years of the war, the U-boats enjoyed considerable success. They operated with near impunity in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Allied defenses were weak and the U-boats were able to sink ships with relative ease. They preyed on ships sailing alone, appearing suddenly from the depths to unleash their deadly torpedoes. One of the most successful U-boat commanders of this early period was Günther Prien. In October 1939, Prien achieved the seemingly impossible when he managed to penetrate the defences of the British Home Fleet at Scapa Flow in Scotland. He sank the British battleship HMS Royal Oak as it lay at anchor. This daring raid sent shockwaves through the British Admiralty and made Prien a national hero in Germany. The U-boats of World War II were formidable weapons designed to disrupt and destroy Allied shipping routes. These submarines, operated by the German Kriegsmarine, were a key component of the Battle of the Atlantic. Their primary mission was to cut off supplies and reinforcements from reaching Europe, thereby weakening the Allied war effort. However, despite their fearsome reputation, they were not invincible. On the surface, U-boats were slow and vulnerable, making them easy targets for enemy aircraft and naval vessels. Their diesel engines were noisy and produced a telltale smoke, which could be spotted from miles away. To maximize their effectiveness, U-boat commanders relied heavily on stealth and surprise. One of the most notorious tactics was the wolfpack attack. This involved a group of U-boats working together to stalk a convoy of merchant ships. They would communicate using encrypted radio messages, coordinating their movements to encircle the convoy. Once night fell, the U-boats would surface and launch a coordinated attack, firing torpedoes in all directions. The cover of darkness provided them with a significant advantage, making it difficult for the convoy's escorts to detect and counter the attack. Another effective tactic was to lie in wait near busy shipping lanes or outside enemy ports. These waiting wolves would remain submerged for long periods, patiently watching for unsuspecting targets. The U-boat's periscope allowed the commander to observe the surface without revealing their position. Once a target was in range, the U-boat would launch a surprise attack, often with devastating results. The element of surprise was crucial, as it left the enemy with little time to react. In addition to torpedoes, U-boat commanders also relied heavily on their deck guns. While torpedoes were their primary weapon, they were expensive and limited in number. Deck guns, on the other hand, could be used to sink smaller ships or to finish off larger vessels that had been crippled by torpedoes. The deck gun crews were highly trained and could fire accurately even in rough seas. This versatility made the U-boat a formidable adversary, capable of adapting to different combat situations. The combination of stealth, surprise, and firepower made the U-boats a constant threat to Allied shipping throughout the war. The Battle of the Atlantic was the longest continuous military campaign of World War II. It was a relentless struggle that spanned nearly 6 years, involving countless ships, submarines, and aircraft from both the Allied and Axis powers. It lasted from the first day of the war until Germany's surrender in May 1945. This prolonged conflict saw numerous phases, each marked by intense battles and strategic shifts. The battle was fought over thousands of square miles of ocean, from the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the sunny Caribbean Sea. The vast expanse of the Atlantic presented unique challenges, with treacherous weather conditions and the constant threat of enemy attacks. The Battle of the Atlantic was a battle of attrition. Both sides aimed to wear down the other's resources and will to fight. The Germans, with their formidable U-boat fleet, sought to cut off Britain's vital supply lines. The Germans were trying to sink Allied ships faster than they could be replaced. Their strategy was to starve Britain into submission by targeting merchant vessels carrying essential supplies. The Allies, on the other hand, were determined to protect their vital supply lines and to hunt down and destroy the U-boat menace. Convoys of merchant ships, escorted by warships, became a common sight as the Allies sought to safeguard their cargo. The tide of the battle began to turn in favor of the Allies in 1943. This shift was not sudden, but the result of cumulative efforts and innovations. Several factors contributed to this shift in momentum. The Allies' ability to adapt and innovate played a crucial role in gaining the upper hand. The Allies were building new ships at an astonishing rate. Shipyards worked around the clock, producing vessels faster than the Germans could sink them. They were also improving their anti-submarine tactics and technology. New strategies were developed to counter the U-boat threat, including the use of sonar and depth charges. New radar systems made it easier to detect surfaced U-boats, providing early warnings and allowing for more effective countermeasures, while long-range aircraft could now patrol the vast expanses of the Atlantic and attack U-boats far from land. These aircraft extended the reach of the Allies, making it increasingly difficult for U-boats to operate undetected. Perhaps the most significant factor in the Allied victory was the breaking of the German Enigma code. This breakthrough provided the Allies with critical insights into German naval operations. This gave the Allies invaluable intelligence about U-boat movements and allowed them to direct their attacks with greater precision. The ability to anticipate and counter German strategies was a game-changer in the Battle of the Atlantic. The Battle of the Atlantic was a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the Allied forces. It was a hard-fought victory that required immense coordination, innovation, and sacrifice. The lessons learned and the technologies developed during this campaign had a lasting impact on naval warfare and helped shape the outcome of World War II. Today, we remember and honor the bravery of those who served in this critical campaign. Their efforts ensured the survival of nations and the eventual triumph of freedom over tyranny.